Wowzer with the blue stuff at the wall. What's the mix here? Good backdash. Avoids his damage, gets skyrocketed, and he's gone.
Yeah, man. That just frame fucking tight, man.
Oh, dude.
Hey, thanks for coming on the podcast, Neal. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just took a fat L in grand finals, but I'm doing all right.
Oh, bro.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. No, that was a really tight set you had against Wowzer. And that just framed just to clutch it out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was good. I hardly ever beat Wowzer in anything, so I was happy with that at least. But definitely, grand finals, man, I could have done better.
Yeah.
I just, I always talk about talk to myself about bleeding in neutral too much.
Yeah.
And just bleeding pokes and not having crisp movement, and kind of how that affects my play, and it's like I really have to will myself to slow down and just kind of like, when I got the golden lever, that what I got inscribed on it says just move and block and move and block and move and block, like all the way around.
Yeah.
But I've played with it so much it's rubbed off.
Yeah, and you play Hwoarang too, which
I can remind myself of that sometimes.
Well, for those who are listening, first timers and stuff, give us the brief rundown as to who you are.
Oh, my name's Neal. I used to, in the very beginning when I started playing Tekken, or when I first joined the Tekken Saibatsu forums, I should say, I went by the tag iMash, because I don't know what the history of that was. I was trying to think of something clever, and I don't know, a play on words with I think the iPod had just come out, and I was like, oh yeah, this will be funny.
Yeah.
So I was iMash on the forums for ages, and then I was like, no, fuck that. I just want to use my own name, because I know everybody in person from the arcade and all of that, and when I meet people, I'd rather they know my real name rather than some gamer tag.
Yeah. No, fair enough, man. So
maybe it's something of getting old too.
Oh God, don't say that, man.
Don't want to fuck around with gamer tags anymore.
Yeah. No, I understand. So like when I've known you for quite a long time. I think we first met like at Time Zone when you were working there, but we were actually students at Unitech. So yeah, tell us about your beginnings, like that whole pathway,
Oh man, in terms of Tekken, well, actually, even earlier than that, I moved over from the US when I was like 9 years old, and when I lived in the States, I used to live in this apartment complex in Colorado, Boulder, and they had like a pool for the complex, and so when it was hot, summertime, you'd go out, have a swim in the pool. And I remember one time I met this dude, and he was talking about the new Street Fighter game, which I think was probably Street Fighter 2 Turbo would have been the one.
Wow.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And he was like, oh, you want to come over to my place and play it? And he would have been, I don't know, I was probably like 8 or something, and he would have been like 11. And so I went round and played it. And then he was like, man, we're having a tournament for this game. And I was like, fuck, this is awesome. And it was just like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I literally picked Blanca because he was a green monster, and I was like, man, he looks pretty badass. So, and I mashed the electricity, and then I ended up going around, and they'd host these tournaments, and they did it like every so often, and they would do Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat had just come out as well, Mortal Kombat 1. And I used to go around and play in tournaments when I was like 8 years old. I got bodied every time. And you know, it was funny, man. The scene back then was funny. It was like they all called Guile Gully.
Yeah, Gully,
didn't know how to say Guile.
Gil. Yeah.
Gully and Ryu.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, so anyway, and then I moved to New Zealand and I lived in a little town called Lincoln, which is about maybe a half hour out of Christchurch, like Christchurch proper. And yeah, I didn't play much for a while. Like I think and then the the fish and chip shop. There's like at the time there were like 2 shops in Lincoln. It was like a fish and chip shop and a Chinese takeaway, and then there was a dairy and a hardware store and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Typical setting.
Yeah. So it was like real small town, and then they had a Tekken 1 machine at the fish and chip shop. It was like 20 cents a game. And so me and my mates would go and play that after school, get like a dollar or just some spare change and just jam that a little bit. And I was trash. I wanted to play King because I was like, he's got a, when I first saw him, I thought he was a, like some half man, half jaguar hybrid.
Yeah.
So I was like, this guy's going to be sick. I was all about the supernatural and the inhuman characters, all of this stuff. And so I played Tekken 1. That was like my first ever run in with Tekken. And then some of my mates were like, oh, you should come to this martial arts class. The instructor can do like Tekken moves in real life. And I was like, holy shit. And I would have been 11 or something. I was like, man, this is sick. So I started martial arts at the same time, and that was kind of like, I don't know what sort of got me. That was quite a big influence in terms of like Tekken later, I think, because when I first started, because I didn't really play Tekken 2. I didn't play Tekken 2. It took me. I didn't get a PS1 console for ages. And I just wanted to play characters with like cool moves, cool looking, like realistic moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, yo, anything that was like possible in real life, but technical and crazy, you know, like, so that's kind of where I gravitated towards Hwoarang.
Yeah.
I guess.
Was it the No, sorry, man. There you go.
Oh no, and I was also going to say like his 10-string combo. I think because when you first started out with Tekken in those days, it was so much just about the 10 strings. It's like whoever's got, you know, you try and do them all, and you're like, oh yeah, whose one does the most damage? And I was like, oh, this guy, Taekwondo.
Mm.
You know, and it's like, and then you realize later that it's not all guaranteed, and it's just. But yeah. I should say also, like, some of my mates from school, we would have little tournaments as well. It would have been before Tekken 3 came out on PlayStation. We played Tekken 2. We'd go to, because Lincoln was a university town, we'd go to, over the uni holidays, we'd play bike tag, chase each other around on bikes and shit. all through the year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so afterwards we'd go play Tekken tournament.
Hey, just a question. Was your martial arts, you know, was that because of the competitiveness? Like what? Because a lot of us have that kind of tie into martial arts.
I think I was just interested in it. It was a style of kung fu they're still around in Christchurch, Chan's martial arts. I thought they were great, and I did that for a long time and got really good at it. My brother and I both. But the competitive side of martial arts didn't sort of happen until later. I think at the time I just wanted to try and do cool moves and fucking, you know,
just fuck shit up.
big jumping kicks and and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and then so I learned stuff with martial arts, and then my brother and I would just like spar in the backyard and just do like stuff like that.
Yeah. Actually, you know, a little shout out to your brother as well, Glenn. I think anyone who's been in the Christchurch scene, if they know you, they definitely know your brother as well.
Yeah, he's still playing. He's kind of like looking to get back into Tekken, but I don't know. It's like he's kind of changed priorities. Like, I think he plays Soul Calibur a bit, which is, I don't know, but I think he's finding it frustrating at the moment. It's like the internet sucks. His internet is rubbish. It's like fucking, you know, he showed me a screenshot of a speed test and he was at like 20 download, 4 upload or some shit.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
You know, and he's like, this is standard in Australia. He might have better internet now, but yeah. So that especially with what's going on at the moment, it's just killed his buzz.
Yeah.
And so, you know, yeah. So he's running into a lot of lag. He hates it. You know, it's frustrating him, but you know, hopefully he can come back and play something.
Yeah. Well, with you, you've always been a straight shooter with Tekken. From your journey, from your beginnings to Tekken 7, did you ever commit to other games at that same level?
Not really. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like, you know, I wouldn't even really call myself a gamer, to be honest. It's like I stuff. I think I played a little bit, played a few other things, but Tekken was always the game. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been touching Soul Calibur and Street Fighter a little bit.
Yes, that's true, but definitely not to the same level.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing is every time I make progress with those, I feel like I just get bored and just go back to Tekken. You know, somebody will message me online and be like, "Want to run some sets?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah."
Fuck. Yeah. Well, one of the main reasons I wanted to get you on is because, you know, not just your Tekken experience, but your work background as well. It's quite rare. Could you tell us what you do?
Well, I work as a focus puller or a first AC in the film industry.
So
I guess the best way to describe that is like I've been in the film industry for about when did I finish Unitech? So I went and studied. It's kind of like I was in Christchurch until about 2006. I think I moved to Auckland in 2006. I just was like in a relationship I wasn't really happy in, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I was gonna study at Canterbury, and then this whole thing was falling apart, and I was like, you know what? Actually, the program there looks really good. It's like a lot more practical, and you know, Auckland would be really cool. And so so I decided to move. I just like drove up, and drove up. Was messaging people, trying to confirm flats to look at, and then I got into Unitech like just a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, I think you were actually. I think you were two. No, I think you were actually 2 years above me because I remember seeing you around the campus, but I never caught you at any classes. But I mean, here's an example picture of, I guess, what your role is. So you are kind of there with the camera.
Well, it's a little bit. That's kind of a. I know I sent you the article, but that's kind of a funny picture to
It's a funny picture.
It actually works a little bit differently. So that's what the guy in the blue shirt is essentially doing is see that white circle? That's a wheel which is attached to a cog which engages with teeth on the lens. So all it cinema lenses are sort of different to stills lenses in a lot of ways. Can't go into it too much because it's like exhaustive. But so what he's doing is he's basically setting the lens and changing the focus. So as an actor will walk in, you'll change the focus from where they come in the doorway at 15 feet and then they walk up to camera, at 4 feet. It's like you're matching their pace with a like pretty slim margin for error.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's like 6 inches or less, so you've got to be pretty on. And then they might come walk into the close up, and then somebody else will come in the door. They'll turn their head and throw back, and it's like it's all of that stuff. You kind of you'll notice it a lot more when you watch a movie now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really really subtle and kind of taken for granted.
Yeah.
But so what's different to what I do in terms of what the guy in the blue shirt is doing? So I don't know what that fucking photo is. But so I would do it by remote. So I would have a remote unit which connects to a physical motor, which engages with the lens, the teeth on the lens. And then I would have a monitor which has the image that the camera's seeing. And then I would use tools on the monitor to check the sharpness, essentially.
Yeah.
And then so I would do kind of that combined with taking measurements. I've got a little laser disto. I go through and just like measure out whatever the shot is. You can get extremely complicated ones. You might be on a Steadicam and the shot might start, down here on the computer and then pull back, and then somebody might come in the door and then, somebody might, like anything can happen and every shot's pretty different.
Yeah.
So I'll be controlling the lens via remote and just kind of shifting the focus in time with what's happening.
Yeah. Actually. And I've seen other pictures where the focus puller will mark on the actual knob, if it's a one-person shot, if it's a two-person shot, though, I like just kind of marking it so they know where they're going to, shift.
Probably not a one-person shot or a two-person shot, but like that would be, especially if you have to do something tricky. You would just make marks. You go, okay, so for this shot, I have to go to here, and then I have to go to here, and I have to go to here. So it might be like, I have to this guy's walking in, so I have to go from 18 feet into 4'6", and then they turn around, somebody else is there. I've got to pull. This is like, I gave the same example, but this is a really common shot, They turn around, and then it becomes an over the shoulder of that guy. So you pull back to 7 foot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then that person leaves, you follow them out, so it might be 7 foot back to your 15 out the door. And then the person in the foreground might get a phone call. And then so you got to pull back to them, then the camera will push in, so you go from your 7 foot mark back to 15, back to 4'6".
Yeah.
And then you push into like, this big close up of this dude taking a phone call. So it's like that's kind of the way it works, I guess.
Okay.
But I mean, like on top of that, that's what I'm doing when the camera's rolling. But when I'm not, there's a lot of kind of stuff like I'm kind of the head of department, so I've got to like look after a lot of logistics in terms of we need to do we're shooting at the beach tomorrow, so we're going to need extra vehicles, we're going to need this, we're going to need we've got to get an extra person on, or we've got extra camera coming in, or we've got like fucking I don't know, like these special lenses for a dream sequence or
Dream sequence. Yeah. Nice.
like all of this. It's just a lot of kind of like prep and management, understanding like the massive amount of gear there is.
Yeah.
There's like so much stuff.
Yeah, I think watching as a viewer, we forget that there are a lot of people behind the camera that work behind the scenes. There's all the roles, the director, the assistant director, the production assistant, all those people. Like this,
So many people.
yeah. This did this start off as like a hobby or a passion, or were you always wanting to get into working in film and TV?
Well, I'm a pretty big movie buff. I've seen pretty much everything, and then I was really interested in photography, and I did photography in high school. I still take still and stuff every so often, but yeah. So it kind of, especially when I moved to Auckland, I went to Unitech. I think going through that, the focus really shifted from trying to be a creative to trying to be like a really good technician.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that was sort of the a little bit of the defining moment of it. It was just like getting my first job and seeing how these people worked, and the fact that you're just kind of you're involved, it's, at least when you first start out, it's like you're just fucking putting batteries on charge and making sure everything's in the right place at the right time and grabbing stuff for the focus puller or for the second AC or for all of that stuff. I think once I had gotten into it, that this sort of job became a lot more like aspirational. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Definitely, and it is quite the job, I must say. Unitech, if I remember, in the film production like area, if you had like a new year, like a first year class, they kind of get you to learn a little bit of everything, a little bit of directing, a little bit of screenwriting, and then at the end of the first year, if I remember, that's when they specify you to a role, and then your remainder years, that's what you'll be doing. So in that, like, do you feel that's still like, is that still the current system, or is that the system that still is employed by like film schools and stuff?
I don't know what they do now. I think Unitech took a really big hit because there was that big controversy where they went into debt quite massively.
Yeah.
And, well, I don't know if it's a controversy, but it was just like they were massively in debt, so they were laying people off, downsizing, various programs and things.
Yeah, the course became a little less practical. The unification between actors, dancers, and the production team, like there weren't so many assignments that they would do together. What I heard. I think
even transitioning from my year to yours. It was like, because we specialized earlier, like we did a little bit of everything, but when I say everything, I mean just the technical stuff. That's what I wanted to. I was doing screen arts, so I didn't do any acting or any writing or any of that stuff. We did a bunch of kind of waffly, like creative exercises.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, so I was doing camera from like 3 months into it, pretty much, instead of year 2.
Okay.
Yeah, which was good, but I gotta say, after finishing that, it was just like fucking night and day compared to, even though it was a practical course, like doing that and then getting out there and working, it was like fucking night and day, man.
Yeah.
Like I regretted the whole thing. I was just like, man, this is like, this didn't prepare me at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, it's only gotten worse. I think, there are so many people now that I work with that have just gotten into it just through, a connection, whether it's a parent oftentimes, and they've just started young as an apprentice and just kind of been in there and around it and just sort of learn to understand things and all of that. And it's like, these people are way better off because they're just like, they're starting young and just getting on the job experience.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a sense of networking, I suppose, too, because like I could definitely say on the performing side of things, like whether you're an actor or a dancer, once you go through that course, you're kind of left in that position of, okay, like I've got the tools to work, but then it's lacking those connections, which if we were smart, we would have started building on those way earlier in our studying, Yeah. And as you're saying, working night and day, like you're either left standing on the side of the road or you literally have work like planned for when you leave. And then, as you said, it's just all go.
Well, I didn't have, let's see, going into how I got started, because it was really just, I don't know, a lot of it's luck, right? A lot of it's just being right place, right time. And I've had lots of instances where I've just been lucky. I've gotten really cool jobs. I've also passed on really cool jobs too, because I was just, wasn't available, or I could have worked on Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, yes.
Wasn't available. I could have worked on Avatar. Wasn't available.
Actually, you've got those two that you mentioned, but we've also got other media to our name, like Power Rangers, and we've done Lord of the Rings. We've done, we actually have like some credible films and TV stuff.
Yeah, they make shitloads of stuff here, and actually they make a lot of really high end ads here. Like I think I went through a period where in 2013. So anyway, going back in time for a second, I started out, my first job was Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I've worked like a couple of days on Power Rangers. It's pretty funny, man.
Oh yeah.
It's very fast. They shoot everything very fast, do everything very fast.
Yeah.
They just have
turn on TV.
Massive amount of content to get through. But at the same time, it's like all of that stuff, like it's complicated. All of that stuff is like, that guy's suit, that's a shitload of work.
Mm.
And it's like, it's always cooler in person when you see that shit. You see the sets, you see those, especially the villains.
Yeah. But tell us, what some of the, what are some of the things that have been brought to your table and stuff?
Well, so when I first started, I worked on a feature film. This was I think either while I was still at Unitech or when I was like just about to finish. And so it was an indie feature called The Insatiable Moon. It's still out around there somewhere. But it was basically like, it was a real low budget, but it was a professional outfit. It was a whole bunch of freelancers just kind of doing a favor and getting this film made. And so I worked on that, doing lighting. I was a lighting assistant. And it was fucking hard work, man. The lighting guy's job is just like really physically hard, and it's really kind of like, it's tricky for like, someone that's new to it. And I think, so after that I was like, oh fuck, I don't really want to do lighting anymore. I want to do camera stuff. And so anyway, like I just got a call about someone I knew needed camera trainee for a day, that on Go Girls.
Yeah.
You remember that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Go Girls. Maybe the first or second season. It was like ages ago. Mm. So I went and did that, and just like met some people. I met the the focus puller at the time, and so I did my day. I got out of there, got paid, an okay rate for the time, and yeah, and then I didn't really do anything. I just kind of like, I think I was still working at Time Zone.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
And then I had another, they were like, oh, there's another day, because this was like end of 2009 probably. And then they had another day like in January, and they're like, you want to come back and do that one as well? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, sweet ass. Oh, it's the Lord of the Rings. I know so many people that worked on the original Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. A lot of people I've worked with did Rings. A lot of people working on the new Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But I can't say too much about that.
No,
the untitled Amazon project.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I got basically the real turning point wasn't that first day on Go Girls. That sort of paid off later, but the real turning point was they sent out an email at Unitech. They were like, hey, we need this movie is shooting for a couple of days at Unitech. We need some people to come in and be like luggers and fucking, just help out basically. It's free work experience. And like, I think I was the only one that got back to them at that time. And then the guy ended up going, the focus puller at the time ended up going, hey, shit, you're interested in, I think he had to specify whether you're interested in camera or lighting. And so he was like, you're interested in camera? Fuck, we need a trainee for the whole job, like, would you be interested in doing it? And I was like, oh, man. Yep. So, flash call, snap call, I should say. I was like, yep, hell yeah. And so yeah, I got a job on this movie pretty much straight out of school just because I was in the right place, right time.
Unitech always had that thing about not taking jobs while you're studying, at least from the acting and performing arts side of it. But it sounds like, did they encourage? Yeah, they ran things very, very, very funny back then.
Yeah. I think with the Screen Arts, at least, we had an assignment where we would do an internship. And so you would go and seek out an internship. And you had an option. You would do an internship, or you would do a kind of collaborative project.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hey, just a second. I got to go to the bathroom.
No, you're all right, man. You're all right.
Been drinking so much water during this morning. Yeah, man. So anyway, I didn't do the internship. Was the point of that story? I ended up doing this collaborative project with some of the dance students, which ended up being really cool. They were awesome to work with, and we got to do some really creative stuff. But yeah, I don't think anybody in my year did the internship. My class anyway.
So
it just seemed like way more appealing to make something,
Yeah.
Use the resources and make something.
What would you say was the best thing you made while studying at Unitech?
Nothing. It was all rubbish.
Man, I didn't think you were going to be that up front.
No, it was honestly, yeah, man, it was rubbish, eh? I didn't think, I don't know. I had little bits and pieces of stuff that I was semi-happy with, but like, I don't know, just like, I don't think the I don't know. I didn't feel like we had amazing scripts.
Yeah.
Like we had maybe a couple of talented writers, but I think that they sort of got stifled quite a bit too. You know, they had their own issues with the place, and so I don't think they did their best work either. Or they were kind of confused. Like, I think everyone was kind of confused about what they were trying to get out of it, and so rather than writing and making stuff that felt really interesting or like personal, a lot of people just tried to make like shitty genre films, and they knew they were writing shitty genre films. They were just trying to, I don't know, get sort of a foothold and get noticed.
Yeah.
Doing genre. I don't know whose fucking idea that was and stuff, but
yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. What about your year? So you have stuff that you were pretty happy with?
I mean, it's funny because like maybe not so much in the senior year, but definitely in the first and second year. But I think that was because we had more room to, that was kind of the period where we're like finding ourselves and finding our place in our class and in the performing arts world. It just seemed like a lot more adventurous compared to the final year, where everything just kind of felt like, oh, you are where you're supposed to be. Just work with what you are. Yeah. But I mean, it's like anything. Like the first year, it's like the whole world is butterflies and ice creams.
Yeah,
it's like building you up for that first year. Yeah.
I think too, in our final year at least, we were just inundated with shit to do. Like we had so much shit to do, so nothing was like we couldn't produce quality products at all, because we just had fucking these assignments that were, I don't know, they were just trying to do too much. We had to do these, like I had to write a fucking 3,000 word essay at the same, in the same 3-week period that I was shooting my end of year like graduation film.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't have time to do anything.
Right.
I'm going on like fucking location scouts and trying to make this film good, talking with the director and talking with like all these people. And and we've got like this fucking essay, and then we've got this like weird, this collaborative project, which is like this real kind of creative thing, but just still like so vague. It was just really hard to find. I guess, I don't know, hard to find. Good direction.
Yeah, same. I agree. I also felt like maybe they could have included more projects to work with you guys and the dancers, but also having the actual year to plan for the grad film rather than the last 3 months. Like, to me, that just seems a bit rushed.
Well, I think that kind of thing was what was fucked for the creatives, for the writers and directors. That made it really tough. I think that subsequent years had some decent grad films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It was really funny. Like I'm a little bit. No, I don't know. I mean, I'm not dark on the place because I did get stuff out of it, and there's that kind of value, that like unquantifiable value that obviously I am where I am now. So it must have helped.
Yeah.
If nothing else, to just sort of give me some kind of determination to keep going with it.
Yeah. No, I felt the same, man.
But yeah, like I remember going to the grad show for the design and architecture, and they do a master's, so they go 4 or 5 years. And the shit they produced was fucking incredible. It was really, really, really good. I think that their program was obviously has a lot more entrants. but it's also a lot more cutthroat, and it's like you can't make shit and get away with it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like every year your head's on the chopping block. It'd be no different if you were studying law. I made this little compilation of the projects that you've been a part of. What's your opinions on?
This is the very first movie I worked on.
Yeah, I've tried to put it in a timeline, but yeah.
that was like fucking yeah. That was the very first movie I worked on. Josh Thompson, Matt Whelan, legendary Matt Whelan. I went to high school with that guy.
How would you comment on the level of media, like New Zealand film and TV, as a whole?
Locally?
Yeah.
Like local content? I remember this fencing scene.
It's funny, I see these locations and I know exactly where they are.
Museum. It's a studio. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think this is a South Pacific Pictures one. And so they do, they did Go Girls. They do like the Brokenwood Mysteries and Nothing Trivial and like 800 Words. Oh shit! All right. So yeah, I don't know. Like locally, there's like that, but it's all quite samey. And then this stuff, Spartacus. This was sick.
Yeah.
This was like crazy rigs. It was all studio. So it was just like really VFX heavy. It was just like, man, cheesy as fuck. Eh?
I remember my agent at the time asked me, like, do you look good with a shirt off? And I was like, no, why are you asking? And then they said, Spartacus.
Oh yeah, Spartacus.
Oh yeah, man.
That's a hell of a trailer too. I remember when that guy got stabbed out. It was, and that stuff. War of the Damned.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, okay. So this ad, man, this is this was like shortly afterwards. So there was like the industry went real quiet. It was partly because the US dollar was really high, and we didn't have the same tax incentives. I could explain tax incentives, but it's like so yeah. So basically there wasn't as much in terms of international production going on. Yeah, this is beautiful stuff.
Yeah, nice shots.
The guy that directed this, he's an Australian dude, but he's gone on to do a whole bunch of really cool shit. And so it's quite cool to because he actually directed Lady Gaga's latest music.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. That's another good one.
Yeah.
This ad is maybe the fucking hardest job I've ever done, eh?
I think a lot of people as well underestimate like the actual work that gets put in ads. They may be like 30 seconds to a minute, but there's a lot of work that goes into it.
This is big budget ad though. The lotto ads are always like the ones you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're always long. They're always really difficult. I've done two. I've done this one, and then I did the armored car one.
Yeah, everyone should know that one.
Probably go on soon. But yeah. So this was like on a boat at night. A lot. We traveled to Wellington, so all of that stuff, that you just saw with Granddad and his son, like kicking the ball around, and him and I think that we did the school bit in Auckland. But yeah, that was all down in Naui, which is just out of Wellington, and Cape Palliser. Oh shit, Pete's Dragon.
Yeah, this is a big one. Yeah.
This was cool. So there's actually a couple of bits in the trailer because I went down as an additional for this big sort of chase sequence at the end. And it was this big this bit, yeah, doing that bus stuff.
Oh, one of the bus.
And then there's this scene where all these police cars are chasing after them, and they have this big crash. And so there was like this huge setup to do this crash. I remember that bridge stuff too. So, yeah, Robert Redford wasn't there though.
Robert Redford, yep.
Yeah, that bit. Fuck, I remember actually that 18-wheeler drives through that barn. Oh, this is I can't go through them all. This is a good. I went to India for 9 weeks
for this one.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, so this was in India. It's a Kiwi film about an estranged husband and wife, or ex-husband and wife, looking for their daughter, who just like didn't come back.
Yeah,
Chelsea. And dude, I don't know if anything will top this. This was like, I don't think the movie, beautiful folks. I don't think the movie was all that amazing.
But it was shot good.
But like the experience of making it was like, fuck, that's once in a lifetime stuff.
Yeah, of course.
This last scene, dude. Driving, like we were driving through there, and it was like we had the camera was in another ute. Oh, this shit. The camera was in another ute, and it was like they had like 200 of those ponies.
Yeah.
With all the I'm completely drawing a blank what those guys were called. Just like, yeah.
I mean, geez, you've worked on quite a lot of credible stuff, dude.
Yeah, and more that I didn't send you to.
Oh.
I don't know. Oh yeah, no. This show was funny. This was really fun to work on. Oh, that stuff was good shit too. And this is actually, I started focus pulling on this a little bit. It was just like, so many effects, so much blood.
Yeah.
That tank. Watching them trying to fucking, it was funny. I remember like they had to paint the tank, and so there was just like this big tent at the back of the studio, and they were like fucking painting this tank, and then they had to drive it out, and then reverse it back in to do the scene, and it was just like watching these guys trying to fucking maneuver this tank around. That was good.
Oh man.
Another lotto ad. This one wasn't so bad.
Everyone should know this one. Like, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's recent.
Yeah.
This was only a few years ago. I didn't work on the new one where she goes to Thailand and the fucking ticket's under her cast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There was somebody. Yeah, this. I was in the back of that van for ages, just like crouched down right behind them.
Shit.
Yeah. That was a couple of days. We had drone shots and the chopper. Oh, this was good.
Yeah.
Man.
Now I was surprised at this one. I saw it at the end and I thought, oh shit, okay, man, you really get all the jobs, don't you?
Yeah, I've worked on some other stuff as well. I worked on a big that I didn't send you.
No.
I worked on a big fucking cell phone game thing with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and who else? Some other guy.
What? Negan himself? Jesus.
Negan himself was in this fucking
far out.
Ad for a phone game. The cool thing about this PlayStation ad though is like all of that stuff was just done for real. Like they just, that was that Kerry that's there. We were like driving along the beach with a big truck with basically a scaffolding tower on it, and so she was like hanging off the side of this scaff tower with ropes, and we had 2 cameras, and it was like all positioned sort of. What's this? Oh, this is cool. This is a little show I worked on like right at the start of the year. Start of shit. When was that even?
No, this one would be fairly recent too.
Start of last year. This is Here's Kerry again. But we, this is a cool little web series, man. I did this. I'm friends with the DOP, and so I kind of did this. It was like next to no money, and the producer James Watson, you might remember him.
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, so he's working as like for a basically commercial production company.
Great, nice.
So yeah, just like I don't know, I worked on stuff of all sizes like that. Coulda that we just watched was like real low budget. You know, they got they won a competition with that script.
Okay.
For a web series, and so I think they get $100K to make that.
That's
So it was like, you know, which sounds like shitloads of money, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like if you want to make content for TV,
that would go fast. Yeah.
It's expensive, and so yeah, they pulled that together, and the end product's really good. This is TVNZ on demand. This is The Educators. Another like this is just that's like actors' paradise, man. Oh yo.
And this will be your most recent one to date.
Oh no, I've done stuff since then, but this show was hard. This was like that's like Bethel's Forest, I think. But it was all outside, so it was like fucking. You know, we had a big camera truck. We had a lot of gear. You know, the DOP was the director of photography was like a really sort of big name guy, and so it was like there was a lot going on. And every day it was like pull the gear out of the truck, and it was like cases and cases and cases and cases of stuff, and like put it into a ute. Well, we had 2 utes. Like yeah, we had 2 utes. Yeah, and then just like bump in and work in these really gnarly conditions in the forest, on the beach, and we were in. I think we were like 4 weeks here, and then 3 in Queenstown.
Yeah.
And then they went and did another 14 in Prague, which is where their studios were. And then they did some stuff with some of the castles, some of the architecture there. So we did the this big battle scene, and we did lots of just the kind of kids going through the forest. I don't think, yeah. I mean, I've tried to watch that show, but it's like it definitely isn't amazing.
Here's a question: do you find it hard to like because you actually see it from your own eyes? Is it quite different watching it as a playback, like on your phone or on your TV?
Yeah, quite different. It's because I don't know. It's like first of all, you always experience the story out of order. So like, all this stuff will be happening, especially if it's a TV series. Excuse me. Especially if it's a TV series, you'll be like, you'll be shoot in the same day. It's like you'll shoot fucking season 3. You'll shoot like episode 3, 2 scenes, and then you'll shoot like episode 1, the first scene. You'll shoot the first scene of episode 1 and like the ending scene of another episode, and it's like it might be all these little bits. The end scene of another episode might be just somebody getting in the car and like looking pensive. Yeah. and then the opening shot of the show might be something really complicated. Some big walkthrough with a big crowd and some shit happening, and I don't know. So yeah, so you experience it out of order, and I think when I watch stuff that I've worked on, it's like I always, it's hard to detach myself from the experience of actually making it. So I'm just like, oh yeah, that's that thing. But that's that time when that thing went wrong, or that's that time we had to like do heaps of overtime, or that's that time that whatever. There's always the story behind whatever shot you're seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I watched those little trailers and little snippets of stuff, I couldn't help myself. It was just
Certain takes come back to your mind.
I remember that.
Mm.
Yeah.
If it's all right, man, I might bring it back to Tekken. Because like I said, we first met when you were working at Time Zone, and to kind of come from that arcade era, and then as we see the growth of consoles and online gaming, were you really an online player back then, or were you committed to arcades? Because I just remembered you as being being an arcade player.
I didn't really play online until Tag 2. Like I had Tekken 6 at home, but I didn't play it online because it was supposedly really bad.
Yeah.
Like it was just like almost unplayably bad. Apparently, I think I tried it like once, really late in the life cycle, but yeah, I know a few people played it. Like Connor, NCEA played it a bit online, but yeah, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is just like the competition at the arcades was so strong at the time. Like there were a lot of really, really, really strong players. So it was Tekken 6 BR and 6.0 actually was just like, yeah, there was you could go into the arcades on any given day and find people to play against.
Yeah.
And it was,
Well, I think the skill level was a bit more like the skill level was a bit more easily defined. I think for arcades, you really knew who was the cream of the crop and where everyone else just kind of sat, like in the middle.
Yeah, I think with the arcades too is like I've experienced it a few times, but there's nothing like being in the arcade. Oh my god, this match! Dee-on absolutely cooks me here. Second match. This is fairly close, but like, there's nothing like going into a foreign city and going to an arcade at the time. It was just like, who am I going to run into? How good are they going to be? Oh my god, that combo drop. It was just that was super exciting. That was the awesome thing about the arcades. But yeah, like my first, taking it way back, my first arcade experience, I got into I was playing like Tekken 3 at the time, right? And I went by chance to a they do the super session. People might not know what that is anymore, but it was like 2 hours free play for $10.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was always like on a Sunday morning or like real quiet time. And so I went along to that, and they had Tekken Tag 1, like before it came out on console, because I guess they delayed it so that they could bring it out on PS2. And so I was like, I think I played against some guys that were just like incredibly good. Jesus Christ, finally get a low parry. Yeah, and then these guys were like really good. Like they were the best in Christchurch at the time. And it was this dude from Singapore and this other guy from Japan, and they were like wave dashing, and they were like fucking doing all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then it turned out that the next weekend, Super Session time, they were having a tournament.
Ooh.
So I was like, man, I'm in there. I'm gonna go along. And so like, yeah, so I went along. Glenn and I went along. Damn. Glenn and I went along and played in this tournament the following week. And so I met this one dude that was like, he was like the best at the time. And he was a real nice guy and like was showing me stuff. And so like I learned a lot like about how to play Tekken at a high level quite early on. You know, it wasn't like, you know, it kind of went from playing with my mates to playing like the best players at the time. And so I was hooked, you know, so I just started learning the game. I went home like that day and was like fucking around trying to wave dash in Tekken 3, you know, and that was still real new tech at the time too. You know, and I was like, damn, you know, this is the way the game's played. And then so I found out lots of stuff and kind of played Tekken Tag 1 actually pretty hard. But yeah, like I don't know. I think Demi. Gotcha.
Well, like so I guess so the arcade experience, and then Standing Fierce will eventually come into the picture. When did you first run into the scene?
Yeah, that's right. I think.
Well, you were part of the scene, but when did you run into the Standing Fierce boys?
I can't remember exactly when it was. I know that they had forums at the time, and it was called NZism. Look at that coconut water, man. That was the.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking, like, that's coconut water. Okay, it's not normal water; it's coconut water.
I was sure I was going to get laughed at for drinking coconut water. But that stuff is the shit. Like, it's like, oh my God. Just bleeding in neutral, like I said. Yeah, so I joined the forums just to see, like, because there wasn't a lot going on. How did I get into it? There wasn't a huge amount going on the Tekken Zaibatsu, or I'd kind of gotten sick of that. And so I was like, oh, you know, there's this, like, NZ forum. Yeah, Demi fucks me up this round. Boom. If only I should have sent you the video where I fought Rip. Got that somewhere. But it's Handycam.
Yeah, well, yeah, was the Handycam, and was this as soon as you got eliminated, or was this, like, before... Yeah, when did you have that match with Rip?
It was in losers. So I win this. Spoiler alert. So I win this. He wins this game, but I win the set. This was like one of the first matches of BAM, actually. I think we were like maybe only second or third on stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I joined the forums, and it was NZism, and then it changed to Standing Fierce, and Tekken Tag 2 had just come out, and I think it was like, you know, I was just trying, I had it on Xbox, and I was just trying to get games in and kind of like expand my horizons a little bit. Damn. And I went along to, I think it was like this thing. I was trying to find other tournaments outside the arcade. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it was just like a real tiny tournament, and there were like 2 or 3 people in it, and then there were like a whole bunch of Street Fighter players. Like, that was the thing with that community at the time. It was so Street Fighter.
Like Street Fighter, that's what. Street Fighter. It was 80% of the community back then. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And so it felt like at the time the Tekken community hadn't really moved on from the arcade into the console. It was just like it was sort of fragmented. You know, like, because you know there's obviously people playing on console, but yeah, it was like, someone just like fucking remembering this match. Yeah, there were people playing it on console that eventually became really good. Like Dan started in Tag 2, and Wowzer started in Tag 2, and loads of like a lot of the really strong players you see now.
They're not arcade born. Yeah.
Started in Tag 2, started in console.
Yeah.
And so so I was just like, trying to expand my tournament scene a little bit. The StandingFierce guys were real cool. Damn.
Yeah, and just a side note, you speak really well, and you seem to get along with everyone. Like no one dislikes you, Neal.
Oh, it's nice of you to say that. And so I'm trying to remember. I remember going to Nats for Tekken Tag 2. I think I went to
2015. 2015?
And then I think I went to First Blood as well, which was like, at the time that was kind of they ran that in March or something. It was Auckland as well. But there was Tekken Tag 2. And I won one of them. I can't remember whether it was Nats or First Blood. It wasn't like a super stacked bracket, I think, but I think I played NCEA and I played T4 Gym.
Oh, yeah.
Played T4 Gym. I think. Did I play? Oh, I think Blackout was in there, but I didn't play it.
Yeah.
And then which I think it was that would have been First Blood, and then so Nats, I played. Who did I? I think I lost to Jamie and I lost to Thomas. Oh, it's Evo. All right.
Yeah. So what? Jamie would have been using Bob and Nina, and
Thomas used like Devil Jin and
Steve. Devil Jin and just trying to think like the tag system. Who was? Yeah, Devil Jin and Steve. Yeah.
But I remember at the time. Beating Thomas in that tournament, and then being like real hyped up, and then losing to Jamie like really free. Like I just got completely fucked up, and so it was a real bummer. I always thought this guy played real weird. He played on hitbox and had really, really good movement, but was really found it like hard to get in on.
Yeah. Well, it's Paul, you got to be here.
He was decent though, because I just watched this recently as well, and it feels different watching it now compared to how I remember it. But yeah, Evo was experience. It was a lot of but a lot of waiting in line. Oh, gotcha.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, since this is an Evo clip, you're talking about tournament experience. You've had BAM, you've had Evo. Were you prior to Armageddon? Were you planning on getting any other overseas tournament experience?
Yeah, I was actually going to go to BAM and Combo Breaker this year. So Fergus, Barnaby, myself, and Jamie and Blackout legit. We're going to go to both BAM and Combo Breaker, and we're all sussing it out. Oh, and Cookie as well.
Cookie, yeah, man.
And probably more. But yeah, we just had a group chat going. We were trying to suss it out. And then and then fucking COVID happened, and then I was just like holding out hope that it might subside, and I remember it being like February and being like, how bad is this really going to be? How long is it going to take before we're back to normal? Is Combo Break, is the trip still going to be all right?
Yeah.
I held out for the longest time, and then I was like,
nah, it's not going to happen. Nah, shit. I mean, yeah. One of my, because even though I've known you for so long, I haven't really been active in the scene, only prior to when Tekken 7 got released. But one of my good moments, one of my best matches I've seen you play was when you versed Cornova back at the first war I think it was using Dragunov against you. That was such a good. You played really well, man. I felt like you did really well.
He ran into a lot of stuff. I think he was quite tilted and nervous. So if I'm being honest, oh shit, it was wild. I think I think that in hindsight, that was probably a bad performance for him. You know, he'll put that down to just being like, you know, just a shitty couple of rounds. And but for me, and for anybody that gets an upset like that at a major, it's massive. Like that, I was just like, fuck, you know.
Because
I had gone, let's see. We had, before war, we did this thing on PS4 that Danny, that D Silver ran. And it was actually, oh, that was nice. See, I'm just like fucking carving this guy up, but I think he actually kills me. I think he kills me this round somehow. Yeah, probably like that. So, being a dick. We did what was called the online league, and so you'd play it was a round robin format over like, I can't remember if you did it, but it was over like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So it was like, as long as you played your match every week, you know, then the group would progress and stuff. I never tried it because my Wi-Fi was pretty shit back then. But yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah. So anyway, in that, I made the finals. They did 2 seasons of it. I made the finals both times, and in the first one I had to play against Jamie, and it was first to 5. So like I was in losers bracket. Was I in losers bracket already? Nah, fuck. How did it work? I can't remember. So then you do a league, and then you do I think top 4 or top 3.
Yeah.
And so I had to play. So anyway, I had to play Jamie. No, yeah, I think I was on. Yeah, no, I can't remember. But so anyway, but it was like first to 5, and I won, and I was just like, man, I haven't fucking beaten Jamie
in ages. Yeah,
hardly ever in tournaments. Like he's always been like really, really, really difficult for me to beat.
Yeah,
and to beat him in tournament in a long set, because I beat him in winners finals, and then he reset the bracket, and then I beat him in grand finals. Or maybe I can't remember. I can't remember exactly how it went down, but it was really close. It was just like, and he was playing Law at the time.
Yeah.
And that was a holy shit moment. You know, I'm doing pretty well at this. And then the next season, I got to the finals, and I had to play Thomas, and I won winners finals, like convincingly. Versus he was playing Kazumi, and it was like 5-1 winners finals, and then in grand finals he completely fucked me up. Like it was really free.
Yeah.
Like it was all, you know, it would have been like 10-3 or something, you know. So he came back, reset the whole thing. Jeez, kind of killing me. Yeah, and so that was big. That was big as well. And you know, so it just like playing against these guys in long sets and going, hey, actually, you know, I can get some work done here.
Yeah.
And then going from that to war. Oh my God. Going from that to war, I was just like, you know, I was feeling okay against Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I could tell he was nervous. Like, I remember thinking that as soon as we sat down that he was nervous, and so I think that he didn't necessarily get outplayed because he's an amazing player, but yeah, I think the nerves got the better of him a little bit.
Yeah, I've always been amazed at your growth. You've always been a strong player, but I definitely say, like, over the last 2 seasons of Tekken, your Hwoarang's really made, you've made some upsets. And it's always cool to watch a Hwoarang player, because, like, if you could define the skill of a Hwoarang, it's like any average player can use Hwoarang, but they're only going to be using like 20% of the character's potential. Because it's a journey to play that character and learn him for years to finally master someone like that.
I think that I think that he's a really, I don't know, he's a difficult character to play. See, here I'm just kind of smothering Royston, Barnaby, yeah, he's a difficult character to play because you really have to gauge how your opponent will deal with things.
Yeah.
Like, and kind of make a lot of quick sort of. It's like watching my own matches is weird. God. Drops it though. So yeah, I thought that this was 6-0, but I remember it being a really fast game. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm playing the best I ever have. Now I'm kind of like I'm thinking about the game differently, and just kind of playing a lot more characters.
Yeah.
Too. Playing in a lot more tournaments. It's just kind of like, oh, this could kill.
Well, you did mention something previously about bleeding in neutral, and we've had this talk, between us about like playing more aggressively. But with Hwoarang, is that quite difficult to play at that intensity?
You have to really read your opponent. Oh, weird. But I'll take it. Yeah, you have to really read your opponent. Because some people will respond with more hard reads, and some people will just be really static. And if you can get a good read on your opponent early, in terms of what kind of player they are and how they want to play, and or not even what kind of player they are, but what kind of player they are right in the current moment. Are they playing slow? Are they do they have some kind of game plan to try and counter what you're doing? Are they going to play really fast? Are they going to, what are they specifically looking out for? If you hit someone with a hell sweep really early, or if you hit somebody with a launcher, it's kind of you have to. I don't know. You have to kind of work out what you're up against.
Are there any other?
Real quick, sorry.
No, that's right.
Like I said, I just drank like fucking 5 liters of water.
No, that's so good, man.
I do that. Sorry, what were we saying?
No. What was I saying? Oh no, it was about Hwoarang. Are there any Hwoarangs in New Zealand that are getting to your level? Because are there any other Hwoarangs kind of in the scene that you take notice of?
Dan plays them really well, man.
Yeah.
Dan plays them really well. And I know he's always like, you can tell when he plays them that he really enjoys the character and goes he goes deep with him. You know, he's not. Yeah, he's definitely not like he's put a lot of work into him, and I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's seen like some. See, look at how fast I'm playing. Sick. I don't know. I love seeing stuff like this.
Do you find it quite hard to do the mirror match with Hwoarang? Because I guess it's quite particular having so many moves and having the stances and the situations that you're in.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because like I actually don't have a huge amount of experience in the mirror match. You know, of like feeling what it's like to be on the other end of someone who's really good with him.
Yeah.
You know, I sort of did. I did a lot of at least at the time. I think I did a lot of playing against Dan and also this guy Wildflower.
Oh yes, I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah, in Australia. Oh shit! And then yeah, I mean in terms of like here, there's a guy in Hamilton that I quite like watching play.
Oh yeah.
Plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's good. Cosmas and Christchurch is good.
Cosmas, yep.
I don't know if he's playing that much anymore, but yeah, I don't know. There's like definitely people coming up, but I think they're sort of in the same boat. It's like they haven't had to play him at a high enough level yet, so it's like this. Jeez, that round was. I never play Wowser like this. It's like fearless.
And also, this is literally before lockdown as well. It was the month before lockdown.
Oh, so really? This
was when you were on your little. This was in your hot streak period, man. You were playing really well.
I do remember this. This was when. Yeah, that's right. It's a good match.
This would have been I think it was a few weeks before lockdown. Yeah.
Wowser wins this set, I think.
Yeah. I think it went down to the final game, like 3-2.
Wowser wins this set. It's credit to him, man. He can like the thing with playing any of those guys at high level is like if you think whatever your game plan is at the start of the set, even if it's first to two, it's going to be different at the end of the set. You know, and if it's not, you're going to get fucked, basically. Oh, man. Offline, too.
Yeah, I know. Offline, yeah.
I miss it.
You're just in your element, man. Yeah. And that's your staple custom you go for as well.
What's that?
Your custom.
I do.
Yeah.
I do go for that. I do go for that custom. Yeah. Yeah, man. Wowser is like incredibly good. He's grown a lot. Both him and Dan, and in really different ways too.
Yeah.
Like I think that yeah, I don't know. It's good to have both of those guys around to train with a lot. Yeah, I should say because I was playing against Wildflower in the Hwoarang match. Oh, we missed his punch. Still got me though. I was playing against Wildflower and then against Dan a lot. Like me and Dan would run really long sets with Hwoarang, and it'd just go even like all the time. It'd go even, and then he'd have the better of me in tournament. Like I just fucking get so nervous. The mirror match on stream.
Yeah.
And so I think he had the better of me in pretty much every one of the online tournaments we did. But yeah, I've played against Lucky Box a little bit, but I've always found it like he's awesome, but just the connection's never been good. But yeah, he's somebody that's he's fucking hard out. But again, because he just whoa. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this game. That would have been a clip.
Yeah. So with Hwoarang in Tekken 7, how do you feel how do you feel he caters to the system? Like
I feel like nice. I feel like he's good. He's really massively high damage output. His rage out's pretty unique in that I don't really use it for as a traditional rage out. I just use it as a combo ender or to like make people watch it when I kill them.
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, I don't know. His 2 rage drives is good. There's a lot of. I don't think either of them are really like super top tier overpowered. But they've both got that must have been an accident. They've both got a lot of utility.
Yeah.
In their own way, whether it's for combos or for pressure or for the wall game and whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's a good Tekken 7 character. I think he's strong. He's got a few. I mean, he's definitely got weaknesses.
Yeah.
I think if more so, he's probably. I don't know. I think the idea of like being a lopsided character applies to him a little bit. He's just like there's some tools that he doesn't really have, and there are some things that make matchups hard for him a little bit.
But I mean, the forward 4 is such a great get-in tool, Sparta kick, and then there's backlash, which I know we all kind of jump back and forth complaining about backlash. But what are your opinions on that move?
I think it's good. I think that you really like. Oh, when's this from? Oh, this is my stream. Man, Eliza is sick, dude.
Yes.
I think it's good. It's a massive comeback thing, but it's like yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's like about sort of as strong as it should be.
Yeah.
I think that you have to when you hit somebody with it, most of the time it's just like an honest it's an honest guess. It's an honest read.
Yeah.
Honest guess. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. The damage is massive, but it's like I think a lot of people just try and punish it wrong. Like you can't. It has really quick recovery on whiff. That's one of the trademarks of the move.
Yeah, if it's a high, quick recovery.
Yeah, and so there are a lot of people that can't punish it from crouch. Like, oh, dropped it. Yeah, there are a lot of people that can't punish it, like, or launch it, I should say. Like Hwoarang being one of them. You can't launch backlash to the mirror. It's just yeah. I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's good the way it is.
So
I don't think there's any. I don't think it's like something like Yoshimitsu's Flash or that. I don't think there's any particular matchup where it gives them a distinct advantage.
Yeah.
I think there are characters that are more susceptible to it, potentially. Like, I think someone like Brian is definitely susceptible to the backlash a little bit when you have to when you're using moves like 3+4 or even down forward 2-3 to get in, or back one especially. People like Dragunov getting the read on the running two is always really satisfying.
Yeah.
But it's like, of course they can blow that up. Both those characters can launch it.
Mm.
So this is tonight. Oh, I was like, said to myself, why the fuck did I push a button there?
So the previous season with Hwoarang, did you get 2 new moves? You got down forward 1-3, and then you got the wall rising launcher kick, or the variation. What would you want for Hwoarang in season 4?
Which wall rising launcher kick?
I don't know the notation, but I think it's up back. Like if you block something.
That was in from the start.
Oh, okay, cool. So it was just down forward 1-3. Yeah.
Down forward 1-3. And then he got that, which I just did there, which is the guaranteed back turn 4.
Yeah.
And that's kind of bullshit. Like I feel like that is accidentally in the game. Well, I don't know. It just feels like the stuff like that. It's a little bit of a gatekeeping tool, because it just really it'll really like cash in on players where either you have a really bad connection with, or just aren't breaking throws well.
Mm.
The Fate played really well.
Yeah,
I think
it's got a unique Lars. But yeah, what would you want for Hwoarang in season 4?
So he's getting that new hop kick, right?
Oh, from yeah.
Have you seen that?
Apparently from his right flamingo stance. Yeah.
So that's a bit of a hole in his game, right? So sorry, I've got to stop watching that match, otherwise I'll get too distracted. I don't think it needed to be another launcher. I think it's going to be good. He needed a mid-hitting low crush from right foot forward. Like, there are a lot of situations where he is almost completely neutralized by a down four, generic down four.
Yeah. And
that's like after the parabellum kicks and after down back 3, I believe. Down back 4. Down back 4 forward. So you're completely stuffed. Like, you just, if they block the parabellum kicks, which is the counter hit launcher, then you could just generic down 4 and there's nothing he could do. He could do his flamingo switch kick, step kick, and which would basically is a high but low crushes. So you could both whiff and then sort of reset the situation because that move recovers really fast.
Yeah.
But that's awkward. So it's kind of good to like call out the generic down 4 or like have another option against dick jabs. It's a bit more of a hard read, but I just don't know if it needed to be a launcher.
Yeah.
I think he's just got he's got so many, yeah. He's got how many? 5, 6 launches from his 2 flamingo stances.
Damn.
A lot, yeah. So anyway, it's a lot. What if I could have made a change, I would have liked to see his up forward 3+4 get a little bit more utility.
But
so
yeah, okay.
His 14, it's his 14 frame punish and the combo.
The combo, combo carry, yeah.
So maybe just a tiny bit more damage. I don't know, because it's like at the moment, I think it's like 31 to 34 damage, and I don't know, maybe it's or just something that you could do that wouldn't affect his combos. Maybe just more damage on the last hit, because it's very rare you would do the last hit in a combo, or at least in the current meta.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that would be something, that would be a buff I would ask for.
Yeah.
It's like the move's there, but it's got no utility outside of combos, or like a few cut. I don't know. The risk reward isn't there for me.
I've seen Cornwallis and Zazob, those players put out quick little tech videos, 2 minutes worth. Would you ever consider doing any kind of content creation or even growing your streaming, your streaming channel?
Nah, maybe. I mean, not really. It's like I think that if I found something really cool that was worth sharing, I might post it on Twitter or something. But I don't know. I just don't think I have enough interesting or any interesting tech that hasn't been found already. Aside from one or two really little things. But yeah, I don't know. If I wanted to make something, it'd have to be new or interesting or that. So
yeah,
I don't know. I like what Cornwallis has done though.
Yeah, I like it too. Like giving some little Yoshi tips here and there.
We needed it. Yeah. We need it still,
bro. How many Yoshi players have we got in this country? Like 2 or 3. Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, 3 really strong ones.
Yeah. So like, because you gave me a list of stuff that I could potentially ask you, and you mentioned something about separate communities. Because it's kind of funny how maybe it's like this for other communities, but like the Facebook NZ Tekken has become completely different to what like Discord is, and then you've got like the prominent players who have their own Discord. There are some players that aren't on Twitter, so therefore information isn't being exchanged or swapped. It's an interesting.
Yeah. Well, the reason I put that on the list is because we had that interesting chat, I think at Ranbats that time, about Soul Calibur and Discord making it difficult for that game, because it's like sometimes people just want to play the game, even be good at the game, but don't want to be part of the community.
Yeah.
And I think that in some ways, at least with some games, it's like they should be entitled to do that.
Yeah.
I think the fighting game community is an extremely welcoming, place, diverse place. It's like you go to a tournament, you're bound to find somebody that you can vibe with, But yeah, I think what I was kind of getting at when we talked about it the other time is that when it comes to particularly smaller games, sometimes you just want to get in there and play some online and not go onto a Discord or go on to, just have to send someone you don't know a message and ask for games. It's nice just to, like, at least for me, just to jump on ranked. And so that's why it's like Street Fighter is great. I can get, I'm at like gold rank in Street Fighter, but I can turn it on right now and get games that would probably be really good, against people of my level. And oh no, not this match. This is the worst. But like you get that's awesome. That's the appeal. That's the appeal of Street Fighter and Tekken.
Yeah.
You can jump on. You can be at green ranks. It's like you don't have to join the club. I don't have to do any kind of fucking initiation. I don't have to, like, I can just do my thing and play this game as, like, I can develop at my own pace. I don't have to be out there trying to, like, God, that was terrible.
No, you're right. You got me thinking about it, because we love telling people you don't have to contribute to be a part of it, but then on the other side, people don't, as you said, people just want to have fun, but not be so personal. And I think maybe that's why a lot of online warriors are online, like, because that's them being comfortable.
I think it's important to have online warriors. You know, I don't think every single person I don't think you should have to be in the FGC to play fighting games. Even, you know, like I said, even though it's like going to tournaments is amazing, and all of that. But yeah, I think that there still has to be room for people to develop, you know, on their own steam, because that's, you know, for a lot of people that's what makes it appealing. So yeah, it's interesting, the kind of I want to say like fractured nature of you know, especially like Tekken. You know, it's like there are a lot of people playing Tekken. You know, it's like I watched this PS4 tournament last night that
yeah, I know which one. Yeah,
ran it. So some dude just did it off his own back, you know, on the Facebook group, and I watched that shit, and it was like I think Velvet Johnson won it.
Yeah.
But like you know, I hadn't heard of any of those guys. You know, that was sick. It's like and that's important. It's like, you know, but it's interesting to note that like some of the comments were like, oh man, it's about time New Zealand did something for Tekken, or, you know, it's like, it's just different worlds, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think for people getting into games for the first time, it's like not everybody's going to want to, why the fuck did I do that? Not everybody's going to feel like comfortable rocking up to Rambats, you know, especially if like their first time, everybody knows each other, and then they, you know, they go 0-2, or they like, it's a bummer, you know?
Yeah.
I think having room to like develop at your own pace and just kind of go, oh yeah, you know, it's funny, you know, there's a I don't know. I think it's more prevalent in, like I said, smaller games.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Do you feel like we should have more content creators or people starting their own tournaments?
Yeah, totally. I think more people getting involved is great, you know, and just that's how I started, you know. It's like when playing tournaments with my mates, you know, not just like sitting there and mashing buttons together, but like, you know, getting 5 or 6 people together and playing fucking tournament, you know. Let's see who the best is, and you know, like that gives you the drive to play the game a bit more and enjoy it. And you know, I'm the best this week, but maybe, you know, you'll be the best next week. And it doesn't have, you know, it's like it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be a club necessarily. It can be just you and your mate. But yeah, I think that that's important.
Do you have any favorite content creators or players in the scene?
You know, I actually really like in New Zealand, I like watching Dan and Wowzer, you know, and Zimbolic, 2x Yoshi. They're all entertaining. Alchemist is like, I think, one of the best Tekken streamers.
Yeah.
That guy's one of the best Tekken streamers in the world by a lot. Like he's not only like just really funny and entertaining, but he's awesome to watch. You know, he knows so much about the game and can keep track of can keep track of the chat while he's playing like no one else can. You know, he'll be like in a really intense match and just being like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, thanks for the thing. Oh, yeah. And you know, just answering questions and interacting with the chat even while he's having like really, really intense matches. You know, so he's like, I don't know, he's got to be one of the best in the world.
Mm.
I don't know, for me at least.
Yeah.
I like watching Joey Fury. I think he's good, man. He's a really strong player, and he's really entertaining. I like watching King J. The streams that King J would do, I don't know. I think he's at his best when he's playing with his mates when they would run those lobbies.
Yeah.
And it was like King. I don't know if you've seen it, but
Yeah,
like Joe
yeah.
and King J and Dante would just like all get in a lobby, get on the mic together, and just talk shit. And they would shit talk each other mercilessly. They would give each other shit like mercilessly, and just like play these really casual games. It's not like it's a fucking first to 10 to find out, you know, to show the world who's better out of, you know, him and them. It's just like, let's just talk shit and play and see what happens. So yeah, I mean, that's way more entertaining to watch. Arslan Ash is a great streamer. I've watched Arslan stream a couple of times. Anakin's a great streamer. Anakin's really entertaining. Who else? Oh, I was watching this guy the other day, actually called Flophouse King. He's from New York, and he's funny, man. It's like he's not an amazing player, but like he's always playing good music, and he's just got great banter.
Yeah.
He's playing on hitbox, and just like he's kind of just like still learning the game. But I think a lot of people go in there and just kind of like hang out and talk shit. So I think it's a good place to be.
So I'm getting near the end, man. But in terms of the FGC, what does the FGC mean to you in relation to esports and where, you know, competitive gaming is going?
Yeah. It's interesting because of the situation now. It's completely just spoiling everything, you know, because we can't play offline. None of the, I mean, you know, say what you will about rollback netcode and everything, but I don't think that is a magic bullet, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I think that we're still always going to have like fucking problems with just like crappy online tournaments. I don't know. Did you see the thing with Punk recently?
Oh yeah. How mashing actually causes input delay, and it's been proven multiple times.
Yeah, maybe. I think that that's a little bit of a conspiracy theory. But,
yeah. Well, that it causes delays, lag spikes and shit. Like when you're mashing like all three punches as you're getting knocked down. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. Poses a good argument, but it's like it's online. Can't you just like come on, really? Like COVID's happening. Can you just, you know?
I can empathize with him quite a bit.
I mean, I do, but just like I think he even went after Alex Valle privately. That's why I'm like, come on, bro.
He shit, but it's just like he got, you know, the stakes are so high for him. You know, for any of those guys, the stakes are so high. You know, just I don't know if you saw. Did you see the Japanese one?
Yep.
Yeah, the Japanese CPT. I can't remember. They showed a clip of like someone's reaction. Maybe it was Fudo's reaction when he lost from his stream, and it was just he was fucking shattered, man.
Yeah, man.
Like it's, you know,
it's not funny.
If you think that losing, you if you think that losing in a weekly tournament here, a local weekly here sucks, it's like, imagine what it's like for those guys. It's fucking massive pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to FGC and esports, I think that we're definitely on an upward trajectory. In terms of prize money and kind of raising the profile of fighting games themselves. I think that the thing that's unique about the fighting game community and people who play fighting games is they're generally a lot of the strong players are older. So I think they're it's traditionally a bit different. I don't think there are a lot of players older than their mid-20s in a lot of mainstream esports and CS:GO and League of Legends, things like that. It's like people are starting to kind of move on to coaching and whatnot. But I think with fighting games, you're seeing like a lot of really high level players that are older. So I think that as a spectator sport or as somebody that is like, maybe understands a little bit about gaming, just seeing somebody that is their own age, that isn't like a fucking 17-year-old kid from Sweden or Korea or, you're right,
because you're watching that, like, say in a pub, you're like, or whatever, if it's on Sky, if it happens to be on Sky Sport or whatever, and you see some guy and you're like, shit, like, he's my age, that could be me. That could easily be me. Making that whole idea of esports being more, not relatable, but you know what I mean, though. It's like, it's not that hard to connect the dots.
Yeah. I think seeing I don't know, players that are relatable. That's important.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't play MOBAs. I don't think I ever have since like the first Dota. But like something like Street Fighter is fucking way easier to understand.
Yeah.
And Tekken's even easier. It's like Tekken is hype to watch. It might be frustrating to play. This season has got frustrating balance issues, but it's hype to watch. A lot of these tournaments are like kind of really grassroots. It's like I don't think like the cool thing, what I talk about when I talk about I guess fighting game tournaments, to people that don't play them is possibly the coolest thing is that you can, there's still open entry. Evo, Combo Breaker, like the biggest tournaments in the world are just, you can go along and you'll end up playing, anybody, from the world number one to, and when you compare it to, like a career as a tennis player, for instance, it's like you have to fucking work your ass off to get, to get on the pro circuit. And then, you've got to, it's how many people enter Wimbledon? 128 maybe?
Yeah.
64? I can't remember.
Big number,
but
regardless.
Like a tennis major, it's like they don't have anything that's open entry like that in traditional sports. And I think that alone is appealing. If you're a sports person that is you're getting older and it's like you're still hella competitive, but you can't keep up with the 21-year-olds on the rugby team or the whatever you're playing. It's like stuff like this is great. It's the same for me. It's like I don't think I could go back and fight in a tournament, you know, a physical martial arts tournament, taekwondo tournament, kung fu tournament. You know, I don't think I'd be getting in the cage. But you know, when I was 21, I would have been thinking about it. You know, I would have been like, "Fuck," you know, I'm gonna do it. I think I did over the course of training. I did maybe 45 fights in the tournament.
Shit.
45 matches, and it was good. I won a lot of them, but lost a few too. But you know, it's like that kind of. I don't think I could ever get back to that level again now, where I could be as competitive.
Yeah.
Mind you, my uncle in the States is a really, really, really good tennis player, and he just. I think last year played in the was it the fucking under-70 nationals?
Hey, nice.
Yeah, so like in the US, you know, and he did really well. So you know, it's like some people can do it. Some people had like, but you know, it's like he's had fucking knee surgery and he's had back. You know, it's like. Man, that shit is physically demanding. You
Yeah.
So disciplined, like on another level, disciplined to be an elite athlete.
Yeah.
You know, into your 30s.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, our scene might not require the physical contribution, but I mean, there's no physical limitations either. You know, like it's literally in here
some
and in here.
physical.
Some physical, yeah.
I
but
mean,
then you look at like, yeah.
But yeah, you know, he says he cracks his knuckles.
Well, you know, you got like this Broly legs, like the guy who plays with his mouth, and Blind Warrior Sven, who can play not actually seeing, goes off the sound cues and stuff. Like it's, you know,
Incredible.
it's just a testament to what you can achieve. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the FGC and esports, I think that you know all of these things are like really marketable. You know, it's like the solo experience. You know, it's like open entry tournaments. All that stuff is awesome for bringing in new players, and I think that I don't know. I think that if we kind of bounce back from COVID, and then also from like all this controversy around Evo and these kind of scandals and things, then you know we'll continue that upward trajectory.
Yeah,
things are just on pause for the moment.
Yeah, just need some time to cleanse. Yeah. Well,
yeah, man.
I will give you the final round questions now, my friend. So, you up to it?
All right. Yeah.
All right. First one, man. Recommend a foreign film to watch.
Let's see. There's a lot. Parasite, for sure. A lot of people have seen that already. There's another Korean film called The Handmaiden. Super good. I don't know where you find that. That was on Netflix for a long time. But yeah.
Okay. That's sweet.
Two Korean films. Pretty like if you're into Korean films, you would have seen them both already.
Mm-hmm.
But those are like Parasite is like fucking perfect.
Yeah, man.
Cool. I think it's really good.
Choose another move from Bake that you would add to Hwoarang and why.
His while standing 3 cancel.
Oh, into Flamingo.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good choice.
I think that would be neat, and it'd add something a little bit extra to his full crutch game.
Okay, nice.
Just a little extra sort of mind game after that down back 3.
What's your favorite album of all time?
That's too hard. There's a lot. You know, oh, that's too hard. Could say something. I've been listening to recently, like a lot. Maybe I don't know. It's like of all time is too hard. But
Okay.
I have been listening to Frank Ocean a lot. Like maybe when after Blonde came out, and actually before that with Channel Orange. Like and I still listen to that, even though that came out like a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still rocking that every so often.
Okay.
So they're up there, man.
No, yeah, they are, man. Should Wi-Fi players compete in online tournaments?
I don't know. I'm not playing in tournament at the moment, so so I'll probably have a different opinion. I don't know. Just plug in your cable when we have to play our
Yeah.
match.
It's just,
Nah, not really.
no.
I mean, it's just too it's just bad for everybody else, you know.
Yeah. Nah. Sweet. What do you think about when you're alone in a car?
What do I think about when I'm like, where I'm going? So I have like fucking a really bad like natural sense of direction, so I really have to if I'm driving somewhere, I really have to like think about where the right turn is, where the next turn is, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
as boring as it sounds.
No.
No, if I zone out, man, you know, I've done some long drives and I've listened to this podcast and I've listened to the Beast Starts.
Oh, actually, quick shout out to Abi. Fucking thank God he's starting it up again. Yeah.
Yeah. His podcast is great, and so when I've had, I know when I've had, I think I did a drive to Rotorua or somewhere for some job, and I just like put on the podcast, and it was just like fucking time flew by, and I was just was really engaged.
Nah. Sweet, bro. What's been your highlight moment in the NZFGC?
Oh, that's really hard too. I think maybe highlight moment in the NZFGC. There's a lot. That's why.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe it's that time I beat Thomas at War. The first War was really really good, and I couldn't make it to the second one. No, okay, I've got it. So I went to Crush Counter Capital. Was it? Maybe it was. No, it was 2018. Crush Counter Capital 2018, and I can't even remember what happened in the tournament. I think I think I got seventh or something. Like I didn't play that well, but afterwards we all went to the after party and it was cool, and it just kind of like closed too early, and we're like, oh, what the fuck, it's a bummer because the tournament ran late and all this. But then afterwards there were a bunch of us staying at the hotel, the venue.
Yeah.
And so I remember having like this just like random assortment of people and doing like a team battle for Tekken with like all of these like Street Fighter players and like just a few there were like a few Tekken players, and it was just like it was hype. It was really really funny, and we probably played until about 4 a.m. And it was just like, just people, because I didn't really have much to do with with those guys at the actual tournament.
Yeah.
It was cool to play some games, play some casuals with people I didn't know that well, and you know.
Oh, that's cool, man. Oh, that's sweet as.
It was just like in one of the hotel rooms.
If you could always fly first class on an airline, which one would it be?
In New Zealand, man. I think I always fly with Air New Zealand pretty much, apart from when I've been in the US.
Ah, sweet. What is it? Just is it meals? Is it the comfy seats, or just loyalty?
I've never flown first class. Well, I guess it's what is it? Business Premier. I've flown premium economy. That's like if you have to go somewhere and you have to fucking work the next day, or you have to do shit like the next day, it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You know, if you can afford to upgrade or something, you just get more rest. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a little bit of home.
A little bit of home.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, flight attendants with the New Zealand accent. It's nice.
Yeah.
If you're coming home from a long, you know, after being away for a long time.
Yeah.
Good movies. I don't know.
Rest or Lord Silver?
Rest.
Yeah, I figured as much.
I love Eris. I love Lord Silver, but it's got to be Rest.
Yeah. Have you had games with Rest at all? Have you ever talked to him?
Yeah, I played Rest at BAM last year. We would always bump into each other because we were both smoking. We'd always bump into each other outside for a cigarette. And so I got to know him quite well. I've only played a short set with him though. I've played him online a little bit, but yeah, like Hwoarang, mirror match, offline. I've only played like the first 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's super good. He's like his kind of play is, you know, when I think about playing fast, that's sort of what I aspire to.
Yeah. Oh, nice, man. Name the best amateur and best professional you've worked with in the film and television industry.
The best amateur and the best professional?
Well, yeah, amateur, obviously I mean like novice, like if it's like day one or if it's like they've only been on the job for a couple of months. Yeah.
The best professional in terms of
anything. Another cameraman, another, you know, could be the AD or something.
Oh yeah, I worked with the guy that shot all of the Batman movies, the Nolan Batman movies, and he shot, what else did he do? Inception.
Nice.
And I don't know, who else? I worked with the guy that worked on The Shining. I've worked with a crazy amount of people. The guy that shot that PlayStation commercial did one of the new Star Wars movies, and then shot a lot of The Mandalorian.
Shit.
Let's see, what else? Like I talked about earlier, that guy that did that C Folly ad doing the Lady Gaga music video. But then before that, he sort of broke out. He directed that video for Sia. Have you seen that with Maddie Ziegler and fucking Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
He directed that one. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've worked with a lot of really flash people. The best amateur. Oh man. Some of the child actors, that kid in Pete's Dragon was incredibly good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, you know, it's like being an actor is fucking demanding, and doing it when you're that age is like, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. You're well paid for it, but it's just like, it's a massive commitment, and it's just like, you know, I get to go home at night and just like chill out and play Tekken and go to sleep. But you know, these guys are going home and they're just like fucking learn lines.
Yeah,
and,
learning
you know,
200-page lines and shit. Yeah.
Scenes we doing tomorrow. What do I have to do? I've got to do this dance. I've got to fucking do all this shit. You know, so like, I don't know. What's his name? Oaks. Get a funny first name. But yeah, I don't know. People like that. That's sort of the most impressive.
Yeah.
I think, is the young actors that are really good.
Yeah. And finally, who is your waifu, Neal?
Ooh, in any game or in Tekken?
Whatever you like.
Oh, I don't know, man. None of the Tekken, none of the women in Tekken really do it for me.
Really? Oh, okay.
If I'm being honest, I don't know. I think, maybe Laura from Street Fighter. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, Brazilian. Okay. Yeah.
Fuck, who else? Abby from The Last of Us. Last of Us 2. Did you play that shit?
Yep. Yeah, Abby's good. Yeah.
I like Abby, bro. She's badass.
Hey, thanks again, Neal, man. Do you have any last words or comments? Any shout-outs or anything?
I don't know, man. Shout outs to everybody that's, you know, jumping in for lobbies and helping grind, you know, helping us all get better. Helping us all get better at Tekken. You know, Fergus and Barnaby and Shredder and Dan and Wowzer. You know, everybody that's just like
Everyone's that putting in the work.
You know, anybody that I message for games and they just go, "Yep, sweet," straight away. You know, and yeah, I don't know. We've got a good scene.
Yeah.
Good scene.
Sweet, man. Thanks for that, bro.
No, all good.